In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing Garuda Linux. As you can see, this is Garuda Linux here, and it's a fairly stylish looking desktop environment. And you've got this see-through panels, you've got neon style icons at the bottom, and you've got the menu up here, which is so this is the KDE version of Garuda that I'm reviewing here. It's the Dragonized version. So let's start off. Let's find a web browser. So, as traditional with my reviews, we start off on the Distro Watch website, and we can see that down the right hand side we have a list of the page hit rankings for the last 6 months. And so we're now out of the top 10. So we have reviews for the top 10 already. The Garuda is number 11 on the list. Garuda is a Arch-based distro. A bit like Manjaro or Endeavour, but here's the website for Garuda, and you can choose from various different desktop environments: KDE, XFCE, GNOME, LXQT, Cinnamon, Mate, Wayfire, Qtile, i3, Window Manager, and Sway. So we go down here to the downloads. Minimum requirements: 30 gigabytes, 4 gig RAM, and it's got an installation procedure, but I have a guide on my site showing you how to install it. And then we've got all the different downloads. You've got the Dragonized edition, which is what I'm reviewing today. You've also got this gaming edition, which gives you more setup for if you're a gamer. And then you've got other editions like GNOME and Cinnamon, etc. But I've gone for the one that's at the top. Like if you go to the About page, it tells you more about who they are, the people that have developed the distro, which is quite a nice thing, but it doesn't actually tell you much about the distro itself, what it's based on, or anything like that. It's got a donate page. So here we are at the desktop. We'll start the full review now, and you get this welcome screen when you first start. You have this assistant, gamer, settings manager, network assistant, etc. So let's look at the network situation. As you know, I use a wired connection, so I don't need wireless, but if I go up here without any interference, I've got access to all my Wi-Fi networks. So that's a positive. We've also got the Bluetooth icon up here. We will try and connect that later on in the guide, and we'll go for printers as well. If I click add to add a printer, find a network printer, you can see it's found my network printer. There's two possible ones available. And you can see it's set up. Would like to print a test page now, I won't, but the printer is set up. Incidentally, the windows here don't have traditional minimize, maximize. You have to hover over and you can see that's the X, that's the maximize, that's the minimize. So let's have a look at some of the other things. You've got the Garuda Assistant. And this is the sort of place you'd go like if you want to update your system, if you want to install some packages, edit your repositories, etc. It's a handy place if you've got cache issues. You can clear your caches and save space. You see what system components are. So I've got pipewire support, what virtualization's installed. So I haven't got any, but I can install VirtualBox, etc. Bluetooth support's enabled, GStreamer's enabled for videos, Samba support, so I should be able to connect to Windows if I want to. And they've got more settings here, system specifications, and other diagnostics. And then you've got Garuda Gamer. So if I want to install Steam, that's all I have to do. And it's doing everything it needs to do to get Steam installed. Now, because it's using command line tool to install the packages, it's quite verbose in the information it gives. All you got to do is let it do its stuff, and at the finish, you can see it says press enter to exit. And there's the Steam updating in the background there. Now, it was a little bit confusing there when it first popped up. And it didn't launch automatically. I had to go into the menu and go to Steam. If I type Steam, and I have Steam one time or one Steam. I chose the second one. I guess I could have chosen the first one, but it's doing it anyway. Then you've got all these other things. So like if you want to run Windows games, you've got Wine, you've got Proton, you've got other games launchers, games hubs, etc. And under here, you've got all these games that you can install anyway, like Breakout, Mahjong, Chess, etc. And then you've got all these emulators here. So from a gaming point of view, in Linux gaming, it's quite a good starting point. And then we've got this Garuda Settings Manager. You can see Steam's now doing its stuff here in the background. Garuda Settings Manager doesn't seem to be doing much. You've got Garuda Network Assistant. And this is where you'd go, for instance, like if you want to create a hotspot, go into airplane mode, etc., on things like that. And then you got Linux drivers, so you can see it's already detected my hardware, so that's all well and good. Then you've got Garuda boot options. And you can see it's set to boot to Garuda Linux, and it's going to do it in 5 seconds of the menu appearing. If you can set this to 0 if you want it to automatically boot in and not choose any other option. And you can see the themes that are chosen here. And you've got Silent Grub or Regular Grub. You've got a System Cleaner, Partition Manager. You've got Add Remove Software. And this is where you search for your software that you want to run. So let's see what we've got already. Now, I installed, if you follow my install guide, you'll see that it lets you choose the software you want to install when you first start up. So all the application is installed. I've kind of installed myself. So things like Digicam, LibreOffice, etc., they weren't installed by default. I did it post setup. You can see I've got Steam, Telegram, Discord, etc. The web browser is a Fire Dragon, so what that means is you haven't got Chrome installed. So let's see how easy it is to install something like Chrome. And you can see it's right there. So I can click that. And then install. And you can choose the GNOME keyring if you want. And then you apply. And so now it's going to install Chrome. And now it's going to go and get Chrome and install it. You can see Steam's now finished in the background, so we can close that. Now if I go over here, you can see Chrome is now installed, and that's really quite quick. Now, Chrome isn't the only thing. You could choose Firefox as well. Let's see, Spotify. Yeah, Spotify's there, so we can install that as well. Oh, I've got a password box in the background that I didn't know about. So let's add that. You see Chrome is here in the background. It loaded behind the window that was open. So, and there you go. And there you can see the page loaded. Notice that the theming isn't quite the same as for the rest of the site there. The rest of the Garuda, we've lost the little buttons at the top. Worth pointing out a couple of other videos I've recorded in the last week. So we've got the install guide here, and I do these 8-second reviews for people with not much time on their hands. And then I've got this Q&A session that I did during the week, so possibly worth checking that out. Under the multimedia section, we now have Spotify. And there you can see Spotify is beginning to load. It's going to ask me to log in. I'm not going to do that. That's interesting. It's stuck here. It doesn't seem to have done much. We're going to close that and try that again in a second. Let's continue with this screen here so that we can close it off. This is a setup assistant. This is what you get when you first start off with Garuda. And it's going to install updates. It's worth pointing out that Garuda is based on Arch and it is rolling release, so your system's up to date most of the time, as up to date as it can be. And it's going to start a full system upgrade. Now, interesting that it's going to do that when I only did an upgrade recently. So I'm actually going to say no, because obviously I'm recording a video. So it says update failed purely because I didn't do the update. Okay, so now we're going to close out of this altogether. You can stop showing this on startup if you want. So this is the background, and you've got this panel at the bottom, and as I've shown you before, you've got the menu here. These icons aren't necessarily as clear as they could be as to what they do. So you've got this one here. This brings up your welcome screen again. Then you've got this one here, which is your terminal. And you can see Garuda Linux, uptime 29 minutes, and tells you about the shell and stuff. It's quite a nice terminal experience. And then you've got web browser, it's put Chrome in there. Then you've got Dolphin File Manager, which I installed. You've got System Monitor. And you see I'm using about 1.5 gig. That's because I'm recording video. And we've got Snapper Tools and System Settings and the Software Manager. So if I click that, it'll bring up the Software Manager. So as you've seen previously. And so Snapper Tools. This tells you what you've done, so you can go back in time, I believe. So you can restore to a point in time. So I could restore to that. I'm not going to do that, but you could do that. That's what Snapper is. It's a log of everything that you've done, and you can therefore restore to a certain point in time. So if I click on Settings, it tells you how many snapshots it's going to keep, and how often they're going to update, etc. So that's what Snapper's for. And then you've got the settings. Now this is your standard KDE settings. One thing I did notice, you can obviously change your theme. One thing, as snazzy as this theme is, it's quite bright, and after a while it hurts your eyes. So you can change it to the breeze theme, and you can change the wallpaper if you want to as well. So it changes the whole look and feel of Garuda just like that. You go from this dragon eyes sort of like dark, menacing theme, and now you got this kind of nice light theme, and I definitely prefer this sort of thing. It just, for me, it's better for my eyes, I think, with age. I do like the effects that Garuda has out. So we'll go back into settings. So there's other themes available. Obviously, I went for a light one. You could have gone for any one of these ones. And this is more to do with KDE than it is to do with Garuda. So these are your shortcuts. So if I press Windows and E, brings up my file manager. As you can see there. And I can add an application in here if I want to. So I could go down to Internet, choose Chrome, and I can set a keyboard shortcut. So now Meta and C now brings up Chrome. And you've got the rest of the KDE settings. I'm not going to go through them all. I've got a guide on my YouTube channel about KDE, so we're not going to go too much more into that. But it's worth noting all these wallpapers that are available, etc. It's not, you're not stuck with a dragon theme if you don't like it. You've got the compositor, whether it's on or not, and this gives you animations, etc. So you can turn those off if you want to save some memory. Let's have a quick look at Bluetooth, see if we can get that started. As you can see, I've clicked the Bluetooth icon, and these are the devices that are available. So I've got my phone and 3 other devices. I'm going to click on the phone, click next. And you can see here what I've done is I'm sending a file over Bluetooth to my phone, and I can choose to accept on my phone. And you can see it is going to do it gradually. Maybe I should have chosen a better example than a 100 megabyte video, but you can see that will do it in 20 minutes or so. I'm not going to leave that going. It's gradually going along. You can see I've got a Bluetooth connection, and that's what is important. Bluetooth is actually working. So I'm going to cancel that. And yeah, so that's that. So one thing I haven't mentioned is during install I installed Discover, and that's is the default sort of like package manager for KDE, and I like it. It's a nicer interface than Octopi. What you'll notice if you go to the settings, however, this tells you where it's getting software from. You've got Garuda Core, Extra, Multilib, and Chaotic AUR. So that's where it's getting all its packages from. So the one thing you will notice is it's not getting any Flatpaks or anything like that. Okay, so I'm in Discover and I'm in the settings, and what I did is I installed Flatpak. And to do that, all you have to do really, you can do it from Octopi, or you can just go into the terminal. And if you type Flatpak and it's not installed, it will actually ask you whether you want to install it. So it's as simple as that. And then you have to reboot, and then you come in here into Discover, and you can see FlatHub is the source, and now hopefully I should be able to find, and you can see I can now install Chrome from the Flatpak as well. So it is possible to install Flatpaks. You might have noticed a few minutes ago that my controls were slightly dark, so when I typed in Chrome here, it was hard to see, and that was down to my settings. So if I go into Appearance and go to Application Style, I had it set to one of these down here, so I had a dark window with, so it was dark and light mixed. So by choosing breeze up here, it gives me the one that I want. So now if I go into discover, everything's visible and it's easy to see. So important though, if you're messing around with themes, that you look at the window manager as well as just the overall theming. What do I think about Garuda? We're towards the end of the review here. KDE is just KDE. The applications that are installed, you choose what to install at the point of setting up, in the same way you do with Debian almost, except it's done post-install. So you choose the applications you want to install, and it's quite easy to find other applications to install if you don't like the ones that are there. So it all works quite well. I haven't had to use the terminal all that much. So it's a bit like Manjaro in that case. Manjaro critics get upset by the fact that Manjaro holds back on updates. Garuda doesn't seem to do that. Garuda likes to install updates as they go. So if you want a close to Arch distribution, then Garuda is that. The theming was nice. It looks really cool and bright and vibrant when you first install it. But after a little while, I found it a little bit too much. But there's no real criticism of Garuda. The main surprise for me is why is it number 11 on the list of distributions on DistroWatch? Because it's better than OpenSUSE and it's better than Fedora as far as I can tell. So that's two places that can go up straight away. And all the rest are arguable. It should be a top 10 distro on DistroWatch. Maybe it's a well-kept secret that people know not to go onto DistroWatch to find it because they already know about it. But yeah, Garuda for me, a good choice. Very good indeed. Whether it's first choice for the everyday Linux user, I can't say that. I don't think. I definitely still go for a Mint or Pop OS or something like that. And I'm not sure if I'd choose it over Manjaro. From what I've seen, actually, it works very well. I've got no real reason why not. I've not hit any problems. It's just whether if you hit problems, how easy it is to recover from them. I don't know that yet. I've not hit any. So yeah, all in all, Garuda, a very good distribution. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time on Everyday Linux User.